Welcome to another edition of BK Hockey, and joining me today I have a very special guest, Coach Dallas Eakins of the Anaheim Ducks. Coach, it's great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Great, thank you. And so how was your summer? And you were telling me a little bit before the show, a little bit about your family and all the sports your kids are in. How has your summer been so far?
Yeah, we stayed close. Usually in the summers, we head up to Vancouver, Canada, where we've got a history as a family. But like most people, we weren't able to travel with the COVID protocols, so we stayed tight, which was great. We got to explore the state here a little bit. Both our girls are really active. They're both swimmers over with the Natadors. We're fortunate enough to live right next door here in Coto de Caza. So we do our best to stay busy.
That's great, and I know you're even more busy now with rookie camp starting up and training camp just around the corner. But looking back to around last year, I know it was kind of an up and down season. But I think what I appreciate the most, I kind of saw a lot of behind the scenes footage of kind of the locker room, and I think also what kind of touched me as a fan was a lot of the retirements too. Kind of with last year with Ryan Miller and David Back, it seemed like the locker room was really close. Can you touch on maybe how was the locker room last year, and kind of you had like a nice mix of veterans and rookies?
Yeah, well, you're correct on the assessment that it was an up and down year. Mm-hmm. And the one thing that I was really proud of our guys is that even when you're going through a rebuild, which is not for the faint of heart, they were able to keep that locker room tight. They were very respectful of each other. With guys like David Backus and Ryan Miller retiring, we were able to honor those guys in the best we could. Playing without fans was very weird to put it in a singular form. Like it was, I think it was difficult on our veteran players especially. But with all of that, being in a rebuild, which brings on some negativity sometimes, I thought our players handled it wonderfully. They understand where we're at, but they do have a standard on how they're going to treat each other and be active in the community.
And kind of touching on that, we kind of mentioned the up and down kind of rebuild. I think one of the biggest highlights for me watching was Jamie Drysdale and Trevor Zegras both scoring their first NHL goals on the same night against the Coyotes. And I think that was just an awesome thing to watch as a fan. And what was that like for you watching that as a coach? And I think they even showed some footage behind in the locker room. What was that like behind the bench?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Like those are when you're just so honored to be a coach. Like when you see this kid who has just persevered his whole life chasing a dream, these goals, knowing that his parents and his siblings have sacrificed so much for him to be there, and then to be standing right there when they get their first goal or their first point, whatever it's going to be. So those two kids are going to be special kids for our organization. It was fun to see them take their first baby steps. I've already seen them both this summer here over the last couple of weeks, and it's amazing how fast these guys gain strength. And they're both looking very, very good going into the season.
And then as a former player yourself, what kind of tips and kind of insight do you give to maybe some of the younger guys coming up? I know, like I mentioned before, rookie camps here and then training camp coming up as well. What kind of advice do you give to them on a personal level, whether it be the off season or maybe throughout the season?
Well, it's really simple for me, and it's two words. It's win today, and it's more of a self-driving mission where I think we all believe that if you have this dream or you have this goal, that you've got to make the right choices, and you have choices. Well, there really isn't choice. There's only one way to do things to get better. And so I'm a big believer in being neutral and thinking, seeing what's on my plate today, what do I have to do today to be better in whatever area. Those choices are easy because there's usually only one way. Mm-hmm. And I just believe if these young players or even our veteran guys can take that mindset of, hey, I'm just going to win today. And what happens then is you end up winning day after day after day, and then careers and dreams and playoffs and championships and whatever your goal is, it kind of looks after itself.
And then when it comes to the, like you said, the dynamic between the veterans and the rookies, like that, what can they do to take the next step for this upcoming season? I know there wasn't a lot of roster turnover this past season. I think that's part of the fact, too, that you have so many young guys on the team. What are the kind of next goals for this upcoming season?
Well, number one is our young guys to continue to grow. We stayed pat with basically no changeover on our roster to keep with the long-term plan. A number of our veteran guys had tough years last year. I fully expect them to rebound. But the biggest thing for me is that leadership group of like Ryan Getzlaff and Cam Fowler and Manson, Silverberg, that they continue to kind of drive the engine of the team, drive our culture, how we're going to treat each other, and understand that their positive effect and influence on these young players is part of the process of leaving that jersey in a better place as a veteran guy.
And then what does it mean, you saying kind of win the day and winning today, but for me, whenever I think about hockey and I kind of hear other hockey players talk, they always say how passionate they are about hockey versus, taking like another successful sport like the NFL. They always say the NFL is like a business, but for hockey, I feel like a lot of players have that love for the game. Maybe from your playing days and from all your coaching experience too, what does that mean to you, like having the love of hockey every single day?
Yeah, I think it's a real, it is a sport where you really have to rely on others. It's a really hard sport to do it on your own out there. And so as much as it is a love of hockey and being out on the ice, I think it's a more a love of a team. I think in some other sports, like, hey, if you're a really good pitcher, you could just maybe take down the other team by yourself. You've got these stars in basketball that can take down another team by themselves. If you're a great quarterback, you can do the same. Now, we do have elite players in our sport, but the one thing is for sure in our sport is that you need each other. And I think that's where the real passion comes from. It's that whole working together to a common goal. And as much as you see these guys come and they made it, it's all these other people around them, these players that they played with in minor hockey and junior and college that helped them along the way.
And then last question, for you maybe from your playing days growing up or from your coaching days as well, what to you is your favorite hockey memory? Maybe a memory that got you into the sport or maybe just one that particularly stands out to you?
Ooh. I could tell a lot of stories. I played for a long time and I've coached for a while, but one of the greatest memories I have, and this had really nothing to do with a passion or anything, I played with Wayne Gretzky one year, and he called me in the summer to come over to go golfing, me and another guy that was visiting me. And we actually stayed overnight at his house. And even though Wayne was my teammate at the time, we were, myself, the other guy's name was David Oliver, and Ollie and I were laying in the beds in this bedroom, and it was late at night, and I said to Ollie, I said, I don't care what else we ever do in our careers now, but we're staying overnight at Wayne Gretzky's house. And so that was a real fun moment.
That's awesome. I mean, he's definitely obviously the greatest of all time, and I kind of find it funny how I got into hockey, and my middle name's Wayne, and my first name's Brent, which is actually his brother's name too. Yeah. So if ever I see him, I have to say that my name's Brenton Wayne. So that's pretty good. But Coach, it's been an honor interviewing you. I'm really looking forward to the upcoming season, and I'm really excited to see where this team goes. This really nice young foundation of an Anaheim Ducks team. So thank you for having me.
That's great.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it.